Moving ahead now, Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria, is home to more than 20 million people.
And with millions more of vehicles in the city, the roads are always busy, and managing traffic in Lagos, a city that never sleeps, can be a difficult task.
Now, the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority is the agency charged with traffic management in the state. In June, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu repositioned LASMA, and he implemented a 100% increase in their allowances and directed that traffic officials run 2 shifts and work till 11 p.m.
Well, LASMA has also been in the news for allegedly imposing a fine on a motorist for breach of the state traffic laws. The Court of Appeal then declared this illegal, but LASMA has denied the allegation, stating that traffic offenders are usually taken to court where a magistrate would rule on appropriate sanctions. Well, let's get more perspective to traffic management in Lagos. Joining me now is General Manager of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, Olawale Musa. Thank you so much for joining us at this time on the program. Talking about a rebranded LASMA, especially under the new administration, how does it tackle the next level where Lagos residents expect LASMA to take them to in terms of traffic management?
Yeah, you see, basically, one of the major challenges we have with traffic control management is the behavior of our people. Okay, so it impedes traffic. Like, it give you an instance where you don't obey the traffic police, that's LASMA. You don't obey the traffic signs because the signs are there for a particular purpose. Right. Then, like lane indiscipline. Somebody going to Yanoworo, knowing that you want to enter the lay-by, you are on the last lane. Okay, somebody that is not entering the lay-by is on the side of the lane. So all of the two of them, they now start conflicting. So it's a driving habit. So those are some of the issues we have with our people. So it's a challenge to us and traffic control management, and it greatly impedes traffic.
Let's talk about this main challenge that you've mentioned now, talking about errant behavior of motorists. But then we've seen you having to defend your position as an agency. This case in question now of one Jonathan Odutola. So what's the status now that the appeal court has ordered that first you apologize to the man in question over his van, and that you also pay 500,000?
Now, firstly, let me state that based on the LASMA law, we can impose fines. Okay. Well, what the court is simply saying is that we should not be a judge in
your own matter.
You understand? And that we've been doing for close to 2 years now. So what we'll do is that any offender, we refer you to the magistrate court, that's the mobile court. And it's the court that pronounces the judgment. We have had instances right in our own yard there in the head office where we have lost cases. And we have had instances where the magistrate will look at you and say, based on what you say, and even add more fine and give you community service. But
is there not a standard? Is the magistrate in question now should follow a code of offences that have punishments, requisite punishment attached to them? That's
the law.
Right. So what will justify a magistrate in increasing a fine when the law says...
That's the discretion of the magistrate. Okay. You know, sometimes when a law prescribes that you spend 6 months imprisonment, you can plea your case to the magistrate and say, okay, I'm not giving you 6 months, I will reduce it. That's the discretion, but you don't argue with that.
Do motorists or offenders get an opportunity to also challenge decisions given to them either by the magistrate, especially in this case now by the magistrate? How do you ensure fair hearing even for motorists?
No, that's why we took it to court. Fair hearing. We don't want to be the judge in this instance. So we want fair hearing for you, and we want fair hearing for our officials too. There's a case now that I am also going to appeal, where we thought the right judgment was not given. So we are also appealing that case.
Is it this present case?
Yeah, not this particular one. An incident that happened in the magistrate court. I felt that no, we had a good chance of winning that case against the offender. We lost.
In this one that you're talking about now, let us know the concern of LASMA in this particular case. So maybe we can also, you know, read into your operations.
No, the truth is we basically don't have any concerns. Okay. We just, we established that process because we wanted to remove indiscretion in the part of our men. Because the truth is, they are human beings, they are not perfect. They can look at you, you don't talk well to them, they give you fines that for the offenses you didn't commit. So we now pick you, the offender and the magistrate court, we plead their case in front, and the offender and the last man officer, we plead their case in front of the magistrate who now decides. So if I'm not satisfied, I have a right to go to a higher court and appeal the case. So
in terms of LASMA official motorist relations now, what are the concerns? Many have also, you know, had to, you know, complain about harassment on the part of LASMA officials. What are you doing differently this time around? You
know, when you talk of harassment, you have to define harassment. What does it mean? If I'm doing my job,
and you're firm,
you don't want to obey, and I insist, they say it's harassment. No, you don't call that harassment. It's being firm and doing your job. I've had instances, just 3 days ago, K2, there was a breakdown. People wanted to make an illegal use. I was passing by because I know the cause of that behavior is going to lock down the road. I stopped, I insisted, okay, that you can't pass that place. People came down, they started abusing me, they threatened, I will report you to this, I will do that. If I had not been a senior officer, if you had just put one officer there, he would not have been able to control them. But I insisted, if I had been just any other officer, they would say he's harassing them. They abused me, they did everything. I stood my ground. So you can call that harassment. If it's harassment, fine harassment. But the truth is, we don't want our boys to misbehave on the road. And let me tell you this, what we have seen is that because we have this nature where people don't want to go to court, it gives our boys room to extort. In this instance, they'll tell you, we are taking you to court. When you hear court, you say, me a court.
The average negotiation.
Nigerians, we don't want to go to court. So you begin to negotiate. So that's an issue. We just urge all people, everybody. You see that magistrate court, it's a neutral body. Okay, neutral body. Sometimes my men complain that he doesn't like what the magistrate did. They give them lesser fine. If this is the offense, I say the good thing is it's the magistrate that pronounced it. It's not us.
Are we having magistrate courts and traffic courts now, or is it collapsed into one?
It's what we call the mobile court.
That is the magistrate court.
That is because the magistrate actually presides over the mobile courts.
First of all, let me ask this foundational question: if you have to rate the awareness of the average Nigerian driver, how aware is he of traffic rules and how ready is he to obey traffic rules? What percentage would you place it?
You know, when you put percentage, you have to have a base to measure. But I can say it's better now. And why it will be better is when you enforce. You see, naturally, people don't want to obey laws. Everywhere in the world, people want to evade the law. But when you start enforcing, they begin to comply. So we had a state where we're not enforcing as it were, but now it's better. So people are like aware when I'm caught, this is good, so they comport while they are on the road. So I think it's better now.
All right. Talking about the issue of fines, what traffic offense on the road warrants a fine, and which one warrants a warning? And if you have to categorize them in those strata.
Yeah, you see, all offenses carries fine. Okay. There's none that
all offenses.
All offenses, but it now goes to the discretion of the officer.
Okay.
You know, sometimes when the officer stops you, depending on your comportment, because I expect one, a lady was actually arguing with the officer. I just passed by the road and I stopped by to talk. He said, and I said, why? I'm educating her on what she did. Okay, and the guy actually released the woman. So it's the discretion. And sometimes, too, it depends on the approach of the offender, too. You see some people, they commit offense, you go near to them, they wind up their vehicle, they don't want to talk to you. Okay, the officer gets aggravated, okay, so he wants to append that offender by force, you know, those things. So it depends, but basically all offenses will carry fine.
So before the issue of those who are charged to the mobile court, is someone charged to the court before you're fined, or there are instances where you are fined directly, you're giving a ticket directly without going to the mobile court?
No, all cases goes to the mobile court.
Or should go to the mobile court?
All cases goes to the mobile court. But we have instances where offenders actually say, I'm guilty, I don't want to go to the mobile court, he now signs to waive his right to go to the mobile court. Okay. So that's when you pay the fine directly.
All right. There are concerns about the issues of extortion and over-familiarity of officers with some of the drivers around, and even issues of bribery. How are you tackling issues like that?
The truth is, we always have people like that. We always have it. There's nothing we can do about it. We have people.
Nothing.
But what we can do, let me go. What we can do is when they are identified, we remove them. You know? And it's very, very difficult for us as a people to identify them. Why? It's because they will not extort from me. They extort from maybe an innocent motorist. So we need the motorist to complain. Okay, even gather evidence, do record it, whatever way, so you assist us, because it's a big problem. You know, corruption is something that is endemic in the society. And when somebody is naturally corrupt, when he now wears the uniform, it makes it easier for that person to express the corruption that is inherent.
All right. Thank you very much, Olawale Musa, the General Manager, LASMA. For
talking about the state government, you know, beaming its searchlight in a bid to better activities of LASMA. What does this mean for you and the other officers?
Yeah, it's not just the state government, it's the entire state in its own, because once LASMA does better, you have better flow of traffic on the road, you ease people's mobility, and thereby you improve business activities on the road. So, and that is what the government is focusing on, that when we can reduce traffic, okay, the time spent, the wasted time, the man hours on the road, okay, is a loss to the economy. So we have to improve on that to reduce the effect on the people.
And what's your engagement with commercial drivers, commercial tricyclists? Of course, the bane of complaints from other motorists now have been indiscriminate use of the road. So what's your engagement with them?
Yeah, we'll be meeting with the union, but the truth is the union are not actually helping matters. The union, we even prefer to have traffic, so it's easy for them to collect their levies from their members, okay? And we also have a channel of our people too. When you want to, I had an incident where I want to, a Marwa was driving against the flow of traffic. Me and my 4 officers, we could not apprehend that vehicle, because the people around would not just allow you to do the job. They started begging, you know, that stuff. So it gives you a challenge that even the people don't allow you to do the job, and when you are not doing it, they also complain. So you now have to strike a balance. That's most of the time. That's why they tell you that the LASMA officers are maybe strict, because when you stand your ground, they now tell you as being strict. It happens. When you pass one way, there are people in those vehicles. When the downfall driver is facing traffic, and that means people are ready to die. They don't care. You understand? And when you 2-3 people, 2 LASMA officers, you have to contend with 18 passengers, the driver, and the conductor. So we need our people to assist us.
With the Superior Court, the Court of Appeal now saying that the Constitution remains the ground norm, remains the most superior law in the country, where does that leave the laws that guide LASMA?
Yeah, the law is there. But what we've done to get around that issue is that we've started almost 2 years now. We don't issue tickets to any offender. So all we do is we will refer you to the mobile court, okay? And it is the magistrate that now decides if you are guilty or not. So you actually have the opportunity to have fair hearing, okay? The offender and the LASMA officer presents their case to the magistrate. So there's no, I didn't do anything. That people used to say they arrest us illegally, that stuff, gone are those days. If you feel you've not done anything wrong, you tell the magistrate, and the magistrate decides. So except you decide, I am guilty, I don't want to go to court, then you waive your right to go to court, and you just simply go and pay your fine.
All right. Well, we wish you well, and we pray for safety for all LASMA officers as they tackle the onerous duty of traffic management in Lagos. Olawale Musa, GM LASMA, thank you.
Thank you very much.